It's really a detective type of business, especially when you're doing history. Basically, I started copying some of those old things. Matter of fact, the fellow gave me a whole bunch of them. They were glass plates. You guys, you don't even know what a glass plate is. 3 1/4, 4 1/4 lantern slides. They were made on glass, and they actually photographed them again, copied them again, and made a positive out of them. Like you would make a print, only they were on glass. And once they got them hand colored, they taped another piece of glass over them, and they went out all around the United States selling Fellsmere with these slide presentations. Of course, when people saw these things in color, hey, it's a place to go. They can raise vegetables 3 times a year down here. And that was the sales pitch. You don't know this, but when you're making old black and white prints or whatnot, you make little test strips. You don't use the whole sheet of paper, okay? So I made all these test strips when I was making the prints, to see. Then I went ahead and made 3 5x7 prints of each one of these. That was good. I had all these test strips laying around, and I said, my gosh, I'm going to figure out. So I figured out a way to, I mounted them all on here, and these are just the test strips. This was one, a little 2x3 print they sent in. It's a Tom Thumb wedding, 2 small people with a preacher. This is the Fellsmere Inn in the background, and this was in 1912 or somewhere around there or something. So, well, I've been horsing around with that. I got to make something out of it one of these days. I would take my Nikon. Of course, I used to work with all 4x5 negatives. I don't like working with this little stuff, but you can't even hardly buy any. I sold my 4x5 camera. Okay? And then you would turn on your lights, and you would have your picture down here if you were going to copy something, okay? You'd have your 2 balanced lights. And I do everything with polarized light. I have polarizing filters on my lights. I have a polarizing filter on my camera. Takes out all the reflections. There's one of the old original photographs of one of the houses here in Florida. That's probably over on Cypress Street. And but then you would take this and you would make your exposure with your camera up there. Okay. I always like to use a real, extremely fine-grained film so that I can enlarge these things up. So, and the enlarger's behind you, it's all covered up. Fran Adams bought the old Fellsmere Estates building over there. She came to me and she wanted to decorate it, and I said, well, why don't we do old pictures? I said, you want an old? She said, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She said, I know you have them. So Fran and I just went ahead and I took an awful lot of pictures of the building when they were restoring it for her. And but then she wanted to do all the history pictures in there. And she has this whole group all on the walls, and we have them all labeled so everybody can go in there and read almost the total history of Fellsmere.